So thank you so much for it. So with that note, we'll move to our next agenda. So before we move to next agenda, I'd just like to read two lines because I feel it's really important to discuss by embracing equity, how can we foster a culture of trust, collaboration, and innovation. So financial freedom and good investment plays a big role, what I feel, in the creating the equity. To know more about that aspect, I would like to invite Manoj Arora, a renowned author, a goal-focused engineer, who has worked for the best Fortune 500 organization across the globe for his 20 years of career. Welcome, Manoj. Before we open the stage for him, I would like to use one quote from one of his book, that financial freedom is not defined by your net worth or your social status. It does not matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you can save and invest wisely. So Manoj, now stage is yours. You can open your video and you can start with your slides.
Thank you, Debanjali. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. And thank you for such a warm welcome. And I was thinking with such powerful speeches going on, I would rather listen on today rather than speak. But yeah, I think let's stick to the agenda for now. And okay, so I'm going to share my screen and immediately get going because we are already at 11:30. So let me just start with sharing my screen.
Yeah, we can see your video, but not slides yet. Right.
So let me know if you can see the screen now.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I'm just putting it in the presentation mode. Okay, so good. I will not spend too much time, talking about myself. I think I've already been introduced, and some of you may have gone to my website already and seen a few things about me. But out of all the books that are listed here, I just want to talk about Dream On. I think since this was the topic being discussed, Dream On is a book which is so much close to my heart, and it's basically my story from being in IT industry for 2 decades, and then moving on to become a best-selling author. So I think Yogi was talking about it, and I was really able to relate what he was talking, and how determination and dreaming big can actually make you realize what you always want. And today, I mean, I don't work actively. I just write books. I run a tree plantation NGO where we help in plantation and maintenance of trees and so on. So anyway, so I mean, it's just related to the topic, so I touched upon it. So I have around six published books and one magazine that we publish every month. And today we're going to talk about, of course, personal finance, and we're going to talk about various aspects of personal finance. The last three books that you see in the second row, they're all financial books. They're all national bestsellers. The first three are non-financial books, topics like happiness, dreams, and parenting. Okay, so I'm going to move on straight away in the interest of time. So we're going to talk about a few things today. First thing we're going to talk about is earning money. I know you all are earning money today, but we're going to talk about two different types of money that people usually earn in the world. So we're going to touch upon that particular aspect. Then we're going to talk about how you can save money, because earning is good, but saving is very good, and there are techniques involved in how you can save more. There is a skill involved in saving. There are best experiences, which we can share with you, what people use across the world on how they're able to save more than others, right? So we're going to talk a few of those tips around saving money. And then once you've saved, well, is it mandatory to invest money or not? We'll talk about that. And if it is, then where do I invest my money? Maybe some of you are beginners in this journey of investing. Maybe some of you are already experts. So I may not be able to give you a customized solution for everyone, but yes, I can guide you on certain positives and negatives of each investment. And then, of course, you can take a call, or you can always take up in the Q&A session, or you can write to me later on and we can discuss on that. And in the end, we're going to talk about the next steps. I mean, after you hear all that financial stuff, what do you do next? Okay, that's very important. So we're going to touch upon those aspects. We're going to break certain myths also today related to personal finance. And before we really go on to this agenda, starting with section 1 about earning money, there's certain ground rules which we must set very clearly. One, of course, mobile switched off and you're on mute. Um, Second, we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the session, which will be moderated, I believe. So if questions come to your mind while I am speaking, which they should, then you should probably write them down somewhere in a notepad or on your mobile or somewhere, and probably discuss it during the end of the session. Okay, so keep noting them down. Even if some questions remain unanswered, you will have my email ID and my contact details, and you can shoot those questions to me at a later point, and I can revert back to you. Third, we have included some poll data in this entire presentation, and till 7:10 evening yesterday, we had around 74 responses to the poll that was circulated to you all. Of course, there were quite a few responses today morning also. Unfortunately, we couldn't capture those responses into this particular slides because of the shortage of time to capture and put in the slides. But yeah, till yesterday evening, we have captured all the data, and we will be discussing on those responses which you have given while we are going through the slides. One important thing, pay very close attention. The problem with personal finances, people try to be very, very smart and they want to know the latest in personal finance. But the biggest thing in personal finances, you got to look at the small things, the finer things, and do them well. And this is not only related to personal finance. I have realized that it's also related very much to your life as well. So do the small things correct and you will never repent. Even if you're not a fantastic investor, even if you're just a moderate investor, but if you're disciplined, if you're committed, if you're focused, if you're doing the small things right, you will do very well in your life, financially at least. So pay close attention. And last, I will be the bad guy, okay? Because I'm going to um, break certain myths. You might feel that I may not be right, okay? That's okay to feel like that. Uh, Put up your questions. Uh, I'll try to reason as many as I can based on my experience. Interacting with, I interact every day with at least 2 to 3 new people, okay? And talk about finance with them. And they're mostly readers from my books, or people who have enrolled in our coaching programs, or people who are subscribed to our magazine. So, I talk to them and I understand what they're trying to do. So this is based on my experience, of course, from my own personal finance journey till till I took financial freedom, and also based on the interactions that I've had with so many people. So I'll be the bad guy. I'll try to break your myths. I'll try to tell you that you're doing it wrong. So don't take it negatively. Don't hit me. I'm glad that it's a virtual event. So just keep noting your questions. Okay. Okay, then let's get going. Step 1 or section 1, earning money. You all know how to earn money, right? But before we talk about any skill about earning money, you of course are the better people on that. I'm going to show you a graph. Okay, I'm going to show you a very, very simple time money graph. Okay, as I said, focus on the simple things. They are very powerful if you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, otherwise it's a very simple graph, you can just ignore it. Okay, this is a simple graph which shows free time on the y-axis and money on the x-axis. Basically, it's mapping time versus money, and this is true to everyone who is earning money. Okay, so when you start your journey of life, when you start your journey of the financial journey of your life, when you start earning money, this is where you start. Okay, you have a lot of time to invest, uh, but you don't have money at that point of time when you've started. Okay, and you go on. What you try to do after that is you get into a job, or you start up a business, or you get into some venture, and you start earning money. So money doesn't remain a problem after a certain point of time. You reach this stage, okay, where you keep earning money but you keep losing your time. Okay, that balance becomes difficult to maintain, because if you have to progress, then time will reduce. You will have to give it time, right? So essentially you start trading off time for money. And most people that I have met, okay, they get stuck in this zone where they have good enough money, okay, and they're they're very less time in life. That's where they get stuck for almost the entire life in this region. Okay, after 5 7 or 10 years of their job or career or business, they get stuck here. They have enough money to meet their needs and a little bit of luxury as well, but they have lost all the time. And these people are basically earning active money. We are all earning that. I mean, you are all earning that. So you're coming to the job, you're earning money, and you're spending time here, you're demonstrating your skills here, and taking money in lieu of that. Okay. uh, Now, there are very few people, and to be precise, around 2%, who go on to reach this other side of the graph, which is a graph which takes them to financial freedom. Now, financial freedom is where it's not about a lot of money alone. It's about good money and good time together as a combo. Now, that is where the challenge is. In anything which you do, which only earns you active money, time will always be a challenge for you. Okay, but if you reach this stage of financial freedom, you will have the luxury of both time and money. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't do anything. Now, in fact, today when I took financial freedom around 7 years back, today I am more busy probably than what I was before financial freedom. But I'm doing the things which I like to do. I am doing for I'm working with people whom I like to work with. I am working for the number of hours I want to work. So that's financial freedom, and that's what very few people go on to reach there. To be able to reach there, you got to earn something called as passive money. Okay, so there are two kinds of money people earn: active money and passive money. And that's a huge difference. Freedom is a big thing. Not everybody gets there, even if you want to. Everybody wants to be there, but not everybody gets there. Not that it's complex, but again, as I said, it's simple, but people tend to ignore the simple things. So you got to take those simple things, focus, discipline, committed, you will get there. Okay, I'm going to show you certain ways to earn passive money. Okay, okay, let's move on. So this is a simple time money graph. We're going to move on, and I don't have to tell you how to earn active money. You have skills, you keep enhancing your skills, you get an opportunity like a job or a business or an idea, and you spend time in that. And I mean, everybody's doing it some way or the other. Okay, how to earn passive money? And that's where the challenge is. First, you got a very specialized skill. Either you got it from birth, if somebody is a painter or a singer from birth, or you acquire it with very hard work and persistence and discipline. You got to get niche in a very specialized skill. Could be writing, singing, painting, dancing, anything. Very specialized skills which not many can do that, and you become excellent in that. You become amazing in that. You're one of the best in that. Okay, that's when you start earning passive money. So when I write a book, of course I spend time writing a book, but once I've written it, then I don't spend any time on it. And all it's earning is passive money for me repeatedly for the end of my life, and even for my next generation, because the book still stays there when I'm not there. Okay. Now, very few people can do it. There is another way to earn passive money. Okay. And that is to invest your money. That's the simplest way to earn passive money, is to invest your money, where you invest your money and let your money work for you and let it earn more money for you. Okay, this anyone can do it. Okay, anyone means anyone. You don't need to be a financial expert. You don't need to be a wizard of finance. You don't need to be acquiring any degrees or anything. Anyone can do it, and I tell you, anyone means anyone. Okay, starting from a fresher in a job to a financial expert or a CFO or anyone. Okay, so for passive money, you have to spend time just once, which basically means you have to understand how to invest. You have to do the effort of investing, and then wait and watch and then monitor. Okay, so money basically becomes your employee, right? You, just like in an organization, you have a manager and 10 employees. So now I'm a manager of mine portfolio. Okay, I have 10 assets. Okay, one is mutual funds, one is stocks, one is real estate, like that. Okay, every each one of my employees is earning money for me. Okay, but I'm monitoring, I'm doing their appraisal, I'm tracking them, and if I feel that there are some underperformance, then I'll have to take action. So this is how it goes. And if there's some overperformance, I invest more in them. Okay, so that's exactly how it goes in any typical organization. That's exactly how you feel when you become an owner of a portfolio and you get your money to work for you. So that's how you earn passive money. Okay. Okay, so earning money, two types. We understand that, and passive money is very important for us because remember that active money is going to stop one day. However good you are, it's going to stop one day. You got to learn to invest or acquire some niche skills so that you can, earn passive money without investing also. Uh, Passive money will never stop. Okay, it doesn't need your time involvement, so it will never stop. So it's very, very important. You will need it one day, definitely. Okay. Okay, now to be able to invest, first what you got to do, you got to save. Okay, so we got to learn how to save money. A very simple thing, we all know that we got to save, but a lot of us do the same mistakes again and again, and we get into that daily monthly rut where we don't even pay attention to how much we are saving. Forget about applying techniques of saving. We don't even know how much we're saving. I have interacted with thousands and thousands of people. I'm coaching hundreds of them globally, and I can tell you 90% of them, before they come into the program that we have, they don't even know how much they are spending or saving. They have an idea. Okay, fair enough, they have an idea, but when we put it on paper, okay, let's write it down. Okay, you're spending this much here, this much here, let's do it for 3 months. Oh, they get a shock of their life. They thought they're spending 50,000 rupees a month, but they're actually spending 80,000 rupees a month, and that's a big difference. That's going to probably ruin their retirement. Okay, so you got to know how much you save and how to save more. Okay, we're going to work on saving money now. So let's see how to save money. Is there a brilliant technology there or a innovative skill needed? Well, the first rule, keep expenses less than income. Now, irrespective of how much you earn, how much is your income, doesn't matter. You got to keep your expenses less than income. It's easier said than done. I say this because my experience says expenses will, I mean, they have a tendency to catch up with your income. If your income, just look at 5 years, I mean, behind, and 10 years behind, I mean, in history, and what was your income 5 years back, and what were your expenses, and look at today. Forget about inflation part. Okay, we'll talk about it later. But other than that, expenses will catch up with your income always, unless you're driven by some goal, unless you're driven by a reason or a dream or something like that, something powerful which can allow you to track your expense, curb them, okay, and keep it in a limit so that you can save and then later on invest. Okay, so keep expenses less than income. We use a technique called as pay yourself first. Many of you may have heard of it, some of you may not have heard of it. It's a very simple technique. We'll discuss about it in the next slide, but this is one thing which you should always do. Okay, um, savings ratio. Remember, if you're earning 100 rupees, you should at least be saving 15 rupees. Okay, so that's what savings ratio is all about, at least. Okay, now if you think you will not be able to save 15 rupees because 85 rupees are not enough for your expenses, then you got to read a few books which can tell you that it really doesn't matter what your expenses are. You can always bring them down. It's a fact. Okay, if you can manage your life in 100 rupees, you can also manage in 85 rupees. Okay, so try to save at least 15%. This is for you. This is for your freedom. Okay, you got to do this because you're going to need it. There is no way you're going to live your life or live your complete life happily without saving enough. Okay, how much is enough? Of course, that's a separate discussion. Okay, and avoid the loan trap at least in the first 10 years of your earning life. Getting into all those nowadays generations are millennials, and I mean they are very very I would say impatient. They want to do a lot of things early in their life, which is good, but then you got to avoid the loan trap somehow. Okay, because the only loan probably which might make some sense after 7-10 years of your career is your home loan, which is also uh, only for your own home. I don't even recommend it as an investment. Okay, so only for your own home if you want to buy it. In fact, I don't even recommend buying your own home. I mean, this is more an emotional decision, but financially, it even doesn't make sense to buy an own home. Um, it's more plays more sense to financial sense to stay in a rented apartment and move around. Anyway, so that's a separate discussion. But avoid the loan trap. Okay, so pay yourself first, we talked about. So let's see quickly how it works, how people usually deal with money. So first week, usually what happens is your salary comes in. Okay, so that's your income. Okay, second week, what do? We pay all our EMIs, bills. So we pay everyone. Okay, we pay the utility company, we pay the water company, we pay the mobile charges, Netflix, XYZ, whatever, maintenance, this, that stuff, right? Third week, okay, we have middle of the month, we're tired and exhausted, so we want to go for shopping, restaurant, movies, we want to do all that. Nobody's stopping you. Okay, what happens next? If on the last day of the month, before the next salary comes in, if there's anything left, we might decide to save. Okay, and save also, what it just remains as a balance in your savings account. You don't deliberately go and put it somewhere else. You just save it like that. But how wealthy deal with money? When the pocket money comes in or the salary comes in, they save first. So they pay themselves first. Okay, that's the ground rule. You got to pay yourself first before you pay your utility companies and mobile companies and all those things. Pay yourself first. I am telling you, you'll be able to manage it even after paying yourself easily. Okay, then you pay your mandatory bills, and then if there is money left, go for shopping, restaurant, movies. Who is stopping you? But you got to save something. You got to have a plan in place. Of course, it could be how much you save could be different for everyone depending on their family, their lifestyle, their income, and everything else, which is a separate discussion. But you got to save. Okay, minimum 15%. Okay, then how to save more money? Increase your income, which is an HR discussion for you guys. So you can do that by enhancing your skill, working hard. You can do all that, or reduce your expenses. Okay, what do you do for reducing your expenses? Just the act of tracking your expenses every day can reduce your expenses by as much as 10%. This is scientifically proven, and I can share studies for that. Just you're tracking it, just tracking it. So anything that gets monitored improves. Automatically it happens because it goes into your subconscious mind that you're spending. You're working so hard to earn, and now you're spending. Okay, let me spend a little bit less. It automatically will happen because you're tracking it. If you're not tracking it, then of course you will not know that you have spent it. It will automatically go. Try to spend in cash only. I know we are going towards a digital economy and all that stuff, but certain expenses, if you spend by cash, you feel the pinch, especially the luxury stuff. Try to spend by cash. You'll feel the pinch. You will save more automatically. And I'm not trying to tell you to don't live your life, okay? I'm only trying to tell you is to be balanced. Just like you have a work-life balance, you got to have some balance as far as savings is concerned, okay? Because you're going to need it. um, the life expectancy has been going up. Okay, so remember, yeah, people got to go on mute, please. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
let's.
life expectancy is going up, which basically means if you retire at the age of 60, so your income stops, and if you're going to live till the age of 85, 90, those 30 years of survival with inflation without an active income, it's not going to be easy. I know a lot of people, I meet them every day. I mean, they are people who are 70, 75 and still earning, not because they like the job or whatever they're doing, because they don't have a choice. And that's so sad. But that's a fact. Because the life expectancy gone up, you got to save enough. You got to have enough to survive you and your family for 30 long years. It's not easy. Okay. Create a budget, try to stick to the budget. I know these are basic stuff, very rudimentary, very simple stuff, but that's the problem with simple things. We overlook them. Try to stick to them. They are the foundation of your wealth. Okay. Try to delay some bigger expenses. If you have a big chunk of expense coming up, like buying a new car or buying a new gadget or stuff like that, try to delay it a little bit. Just the fact that you delayed by a few months makes you wealthy. Do you know that? So there's a time value of money, right? I'm sure many of you know that. So if you delay your spend by 6 months, you have made yourself wealthier by certain amount. Okay, so try to delay some of the bigger expenses. Okay. Okay, increase your income or reduce your expenses or do both. You will be able to save more. Okay, so one question before we move to the next section. Uh, what is more important, earning money or saving money? Of course, without earning, you cannot save. That's the ground rule, of course. But we focus too much on earning. That's the problem. We focus too less on saving. The balance is lost somewhere. So somebody who earns 20,000 rupees and saves 2,000 rupees is going to get rich, or somebody who earns 10,000 and saves 3,000. Who's going to get rich? Of course, you know the answer. I know that you're all smart people. So you know that somebody who earns 10,000 and saves 3,000 is going to be richer than somebody who earns 20 and saves 2,000. So got to focus, give equal attention to saving money. Okay, don't just keep focusing on earning more. Saving is going to save you ultimately. So that's what I say, people. If you save, it's going to save you later. Okay. Okay, so it's not what you earn, but what you keep basically means you save or invest, makes you wealthy. Okay, focus on keeping. Okay, don't look at people's income. Look at, even if you have to look at somebody else, look at their savings. Okay, don't look at their incomes. That's a wrong data point to look at. Okay. Okay, is saving enough? Okay, if you're a good saver now, so is saving enough? No, because inflation is going to kill it. If you're going to save 100 rupees today, next year that's just worth 90 rupees. So after 10 years, 15 years, just zero almost. Not exactly, but almost. So it's going to kill your money. So just saving is not going to help us. Okay, you know what inflation is. It's just the increase in prices. Of course, why it happens is a separate discussion, but it's just that increase in prices, you can't control it. You have to survive, you have to live, you have to eat, you have to stay in a house, you have to pay the utilities, and they're all going to get inflated every year. So you just saving money is not going to really help you. And we also talk about a concept of family inflation, which I'm not going to discuss in detail here, considering the time constraint we have. But family inflation is the inflation of your family, which is so different from the inflation that you hear, 7%, 6%. That's what you hear in the newspapers. But most people that we work with closely, their family inflations are running like 15%, 20%. That's the challenge people have. They have no idea where they're headed. Okay, so we're going to track family inflation. So what's the counter to inflation? Of course, your money got to grow, right? If the inflation is 10%, which means your power of money is reducing by 10% every year. It's got to grow by at least 10%. And how is it going to grow? Only if you invest. Okay, so let's come to the investing money section. Okay, section 3, investing money. Why do invest? We know that to counter inflation, to earn passive income. So investments are going to earn passive income for us. Okay?
Sorry to interrupt you, Manoj. While you are covering this, why to invest and this part, there is one question that which sector is best currently to invest. So if you can just cover that part within this.
Okay, I would rather, because this question will get automatically answered once I go ahead. So I would rather wait for the Q&A
Sure,
session to answer.
sure.
Thanks. Okay. To counter inflation, to earn passive income, to become financially free, and this is where most women we see shy away. They're investing, but they're good in earning, they're good in saving, but this is what they shy away. I don't know why. Okay, so we're going to show you a video in the end, maybe 1 minute video or a 2 minute video, which is going to prove to you scientifically that women are better investors than men. And this comes as a shock to a lot of men in uh, this particular session. But not that I mean, there's anything against you, but there's certain qualities that women have which makes them a better investor, and we got to imbibe those qualities, embrace those qualities, as you guys said. And if we can do that, we can also become better. So anyway, so this is where we shy away. And in fact, like, I give you an example of my own program which I run, the Elite program. Um, uh, 84% of the subscribers to those programs are males. That's the tragic part in Indian society. I mean, females just don't come forward and they don't want to know how to invest. But I'm sure the situation is changing with time, and it's very different in your organization, the way you're focusing on women empowerment and, embracing this. Okay, so where to invest? So there are hundreds of I mean, not hundreds of, but there are many options. Like, you can just keep your money in savings account, it can grow. You can put in FDs, RDs, PPF, gold, debt funds, equity funds, stocks, real estate, life insurance. Somebody talked about which sector is best. Of course, I mean, there is nothing which is best in general. What is best for you is the right question, actually. Okay, if you ask me which is a which is the best investment option out of these, I don't have an answer, because this is personal finance. Okay, personal finance is very personal to you. Okay, depending on your risk profile, there could be different sectors where you could get into, or different types of investments which you could get into, depending on your liquidity needs, depending on your current financial situation. So it's very, very personal. I cannot comment anything on what is the best investment, what is the best sector, or what is the best stock. Okay, don't, I mean, these questions are absurd, because this is a group we are talking to. Okay, if I tell you something and everybody follows that, then half of you are going to fail in that, because this may not suit you. So the right question is, which is the best investment for me? Okay, which is the best sector for me? So that's the kind of question we should be asking. Okay, okay, before we go to all of these investment options, I'll just give you a brief of all of these investment options and their typical characteristics. But what do we look for in an investment? We look first safety. Okay, not returns first, safety first, then returns. We also look at ease of investing, because we don't want to make our life complicated. Okay, that we're unable to focus on our job, we're investing too much in. There are people I know who invested in 150 different stocks, companies, and they're gone mad tracking which one is positive, which one gone negative. There's no point. Okay, so you got to look at ease of investing for you. Okay, again, you got to look at stability. Not many people can handle volatility. Okay, so you got to look at how much you can handle. So accordingly, what is the stability of an investment? Then you got to also look at liquidity, because you will have needs in life. You're investing money for what? Not just to keep it growing, because you want to ultimately utilize that money. So if your utilization need is in next 2 years, stocks, mutual funds, they're not for you. Okay, because that's not the time period we are looking at when you're investing in stocks, mutual funds, etc. Okay, so we got to look at all of these for each investment, and then take a call on what's good for me. Okay, again, this is very customized and personal, but I am giving you a generic guideline. There's one question in the poll which says returns are the primary driver on investment. This is a myth. Returns are not the primary driver of investment. As I said, I'm going to be a bad guy today, so I'm going to break these myths. 75% people in across the world feel that we should invest because it's got good returns. We forget about the risks involved, the safety, the liquidity needs, the stability we can handle. We forget about all that. 80% of the poll participants of this session also felt that returns are the primary driver. No, they are not the primary driver of an investment. They are a driver, but not the primary one. Okay, so let's come with the first savings account. I mean, that some of the people do not even consider it as an investment, but yeah, I mean, it's still an investment because it's giving you returns. Safety, fantastic. Returns, pathetic. Ease of investing, beautiful. Stability, wonderful, because it's only going to go up, it never goes down. Liquidity, you can withdraw anytime. But this is only for zero risk investors, people who do not want to rely on passive money. Okay, they're only relying on active money. It's for them. Okay, so we're not going to discuss too much about that. Fixed deposits, recurring deposits. This is one of the entry level investments which you should even ask your children to do it. I asked my children to do it when they were earning pocket money. I mean, even today they are earning pocket money and they do these investments. Safety, fantastic. Returns, moderate, I would say, because they can't beat inflation, but they are okay. Ease of investing, not very difficult to invest nowadays with net banking and internet and everything. Ease of investing is very good. Stability, very good. The returns will never go down, they don't fluctuate. You've got a fixed return. Liquidity, there is some challenge, because if you go to suddenly liquidate a fixed deposit or a recurring deposit, then yeah, you got to pay some penalty, you got to go through some process and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it can be liquidated, so it's not that bad either. So this is recommended for low risk investors, starters, people who have just started in their earning journey. This is a good starting point. And people who are at the fag end of their life and they don't want to take any risks, so of course they would love to have fixed. I mean, my parents still have fixed deposits and recurring deposits, most of the investments in them, which is fine. Okay. um, there was a question which talked about auto renewal feature of FDs. 79% people globally feel yes, they should be auto renewed. 65% of the poll participants here felt yes, they should be auto renewed. They should never be auto renewed. I mean, you might save a few minutes by auto renewing, but the challenge with auto renewals are many. One, you might be earning lower returns, and you might actually end up being less wealthy if you're auto renewing, because one day of tenure here and there can make a difference to your returns. So there is a book called as Foops, which I've written, which was my last published book, which talks about a lot of financial mistakes we do, and there are a lot of details in that. Okay. Then next, PPA, VPF, these are retiral. We call them as retiral category of investments. PPA, VPF, NPS, Sukanya Smriti Yojana, etc. Safety, fantastic. They're all government backed. Returns, pretty good. I mean, most of them are tax-free returns, so they're pretty good in nature. Not amazing returns, but yeah, good returns, and they are able to beat inflation. Ease of investing is also fine. I mean, if you're an employee, you're automatically into EPF or NPS. PPF, you can just open an account, and similarly for SSY. Stability, very good. They have come back and they never come down. So they linear growth. Liquidity, big challenge. If your needs of liquidity are there, then you got to balance out how much you should be investing in these kind of investments, because you just cannot withdraw in a day. Okay, or you cannot withdraw all the amount, right? There's a limit to it, what you can withdraw and when you can withdraw. Okay, this is recommended again for low risk investors because very safe, and actually we recommend it to almost all the investors, but in some proportion. The proportion can vary from investor to investor. Okay. um, then gold. Gold as an investment is a pretty good option, actually, if you ask me, from the low risk investors point of view. Safety is good. Safety is good when I say is gold is the original money, God's money as we call it, right? So it's not that, I mean, it fluctuates in value, but it doesn't go down forever. Okay. Returns are pretty good. Ease of investing is a little bit of challenge for those who have not used gold as an investment. I'm not talking about physical gold here. I'm talking about either gold mutual funds or e-gold or gold ETFs or things like that. Okay. So ease of investing can be a little bit of challenge for those who have never invested in gold electronically, but otherwise it's not difficult at all. Stability is moderate because the prices fluctuate and people's emotions fluctuate if you invest too much into gold. So we do recommend it, but only to a limit. Liquidity can be a little bit of challenge again if you have never invested, and there's certain taxations also that come into play. Okay, so it's recommended as an inflation hedge. Usually the gold returns are always above inflation. Always, when I say on an average, are always above inflation. But they are recommended for moderate risk investors. Usually we recommend not more than 5% of your portfolio investments into gold. Okay. Okay, sovereign gold bonds. This is a question in the poll. Is a great investment in gold. 91% people globally feel it, and 87% of the poll participants feel it, and that's not true. It's not a great investment because it belies the basics of wealth management principles. When you're investing in anything which is volatile like gold or equity or anything volatile, silver or anything, you got to invest systematically. Otherwise, you're taking a big risk when you're jumping in lump sum. Okay, you got to be very careful with this. It's not a great investment. You got to be lucky to be making good returns in SGBs, but otherwise, the best way is to invest systematically as you do it in mutual funds, etc. Okay. Okay, then debt mutual funds. Not many people actually invest in debt mutual funds. People haven't heard of it, but to me, this is my topic of my next book. Um, this is the only non-equity investment you actually need in your portfolio. To me, it's such a wonderful investment, but yeah, people don't know much about it. That's the challenge. So safety is pretty good, returns are pretty good, ease of investing is difficult for those who have never invested, but otherwise it's just like mutual fund SIP. You can set up a debt fund SIP. Stability, this might be the only challenge with people who have never invested, because if you're investing used to investing in fixed deposits, then debt mutual funds can be volatile. But remember, they're not like stocks where you're going to, it may just go down 20% one day and may not never come up. They are always going to give you positive returns in the long run, always guaranteed. But the returns may fluctuate. Some years you may get 2%, some year you may get 10%. On an average, you should get more than inflation. And the best part is its liquidity. It's just like a savings account. You deposit, withdraw whatever amount you want to do. I mean, it's just like a savings account, but with much better returns than fixed deposits. And you can set up a pension through these. Pension means you can set up a cash flow through these funds in later years of your life. So there's a lot of things which are good about debt mutual funds. Of course, there are, to cause the confusion, there are hundreds and hundreds of debt mutual funds. So again, that's of course for a later discussion. So this is recommended for moderate risk investors and all investors in some proportion, again depending on what is their investing strategy, personalized. Depending on that, we decide, okay, you invest 20% of your savings into debt funds, somebody we say 40%, so on and so forth. Again, it's different for everyone. Equity mutual funds, you all know, they are pretty safe, because the data shows that over a 7-year period, if you're continuously investing, you cannot come out in losses from equity mutual funds. Okay? And this is not stocks I'm talking, this is equity mutual funds. So because there's a fund manager who knows at least something, so you will never come out in losses. So safety wise, it's fair. Returns are pretty good. I mean, the best so far of all the investments we've talked about. Ease of investing can be challenged because the selection of a fund can be a big challenge for most people who don't have a financial advisor with them. Stability, uh, pretty big challenge for people, because it can go massively up and down. Okay, it can go 10% up, 15% up. Today you invest 10,000 rupees. After 1 year, you may find there are only 8,000 rupees left. That may happen. Okay, so stability is a challenge. So you got to have patience. You got to have a long-term vision. But since the safety is good, which means they're not going to disappoint you over the long run, so it's a very good investment. Liquidity is pretty good. You can withdraw from them anytime. Okay, so we recommend it for high risk investors, some proportion for almost all of the investors. Okay, again, the proportion may vary. It's okay, but you got to have patience here to wait for the returns. But returns will come. They have been coming for last 30 years. So there's no point that saying returns will not come. Okay, one of the questions regarding to mutual funds was NFOs and stock IPOs are usually cheap. We should buy them. 74% people carry this myth. The fact is that NFOs are actually not cheap. Okay, you can buy a mutual fund anytime. IPOs are actually not meant for retail investors, frankly. I mean, there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of reasons why IPOs are launched. So you got to read about them. So these are all myths that all of us are carrying. Stocks, safety, there is actually no guarantee of safety, because it can just go down and never come back. Okay, so you got to be very careful in selection. Returns can be amazing if you know how to carefully select, if you have patience, if you have discipline, if you can track. Fantastic returns. Ease of investing, tough, because choosing is tough. Okay, you can say I can invest in the best of the blue chips, and why is it difficult? But then um, best of the blue chips is good, but then first, there is no guarantee of the blue chips also surviving nowadays. You know what's happening around the world. Second, um, not only that, you got to know at what price you're buying it. I mean, an Apple phone is good, but if you're buying it for 3 lakhs, it's not worth it. right? So you got, when you're buying a stock, you should be aware of what's its true value. So you got to do some analysis, right? So ease of investing is not easy. Stability is it's very volatile, of course. It can go just like anything, up and down, like 20% in a day and maybe 50% in a week. It can happen. Okay, so you got to be very robust. You cannot be faint hearted to be investing in stocks directly. Okay, so stability is a challenge. Liquidity can be a challenge, because when it's really gone down in value and then when you withdraw, you're actually making losses. So it can be a challenge for a lot of people. They don't want to liquidate at that stage. So this is recommended for very high risk investors who have enough time to analyze and patiently wait for returns. It's a long term game. Okay. Now, some people say that volatility is bad for your investment. This is one of the questions. 70% people globally feel that, but surprisingly, in your poll, only 28% people felt that, which is good. Volatility is actually not bad. It's because of volatility that you get such great returns from stocks. Otherwise, you would never get it. Okay, if it was not volatile, you can never buy it cheaper than its actual value. Okay, so volatility is actually good for your investments if you can withstand it, if you can have that patience and the risk capacity and the tolerance to withstand it. It's amazing for the returns of your portfolio. Okay. Okay, real estate, safety wise, I don't really recommend it, because one wrong move can just spoil your entire financial life. uh, Returns wise, they are moderate, I would say, unless you really have a knack of finding places, where you can get great returns from real estate. Ease of investing, not easy at all. A lot of research needs to be done. Prices are not like fixed prices, so you have to really evaluate whether it's worth the price or not. Stability, prices can go up and down. There is no guarantee that it will keep going up, or it can stay stable for 10 years. That can happen. Liquidity is another big issue with real estate, because uh, I know people who have crores of money in real estate and they can't fund their emergency need of 10 lakhs. Okay, they can't just liquidate their real estate. I mean, they're so sad that their own money they can't use in times of need. Okay, so real estate is, to me, is not a great, I don't recommend it for most investors as an investment. Okay, for your own house it's a different scenario, but as an investment there's such better options available today. Real estate doesn't fall in line with most of those options. Okay, one of the questions related to real estate was prepaying your home loan ASAP is a great strategy. um, well, prepaying your home loan works well only in the first 2-3 years of your loan tenure. After that, it works against you actually, maybe 4 years. Okay, because you would have paid all the interest, not all the interest, quite a bit of the interest in the first few years. They front load the interest part initial years and then the principal part in the later years. So there's no sense that you pay all the interest for all the amount and then when you're have to pay less interest, then you prepay it. It doesn't make any sense at all. Better to invest that money somewhere else and get good returns. So prepaying works well only in the first 2-3 years or 4 years of your loan tenure. After that, it works against you. Another question was, real estate is a good investment. A lot of people globally feel that, but to me, it's not. It was a fantastic investment for the last generation, but today's generation is so much available. It's not at all a good investment as per me. Okay. Okay, the last one, life insurance. It's safe. Returns are okay. Ease of investing is tough because there are all those agents hovering around you trying to sell you insurance, and you don't know what's right and wrong for you. Stability is moderate depending on the kind of insurance plan you have bought. Liquidity is pathetic because once you're invested, you're stuck for at least 5-6 years and maybe for 20-30 years. So life insurance, first of all, is not an investment. It's insurance is basically to cover certain risks of your life. So I don't recommend life insurance as an investment for investors. If you have to cover your risk, you need a term insurance, good, go for it. Otherwise, don't invest in insurance to save some taxes, or there's so many other better ways to do it. Okay. Okay, so same question. Life insurance is a great investment option for long term. Most people feel that globally and in your poll as well. but it's not a great investment option. Life insurance is actually not an investment. It's not supposed to be an investment at all. So some people actually get fascinated with, okay, after 20 years, I'm investing just 1 lakh a year, and after 20 years, I'll get 50 lakhs. Okay, wow, fantastic. After 20 years, that 50 lakhs is anyway worth nothing because of the time factor of money, So if you calculate the returns, life insurance returns never exceed 5-6%, and many of them are taxable. So you have to be very careful with when you are investing in life insurance. I don't recommend it as an investment. Everyone should have buy at least one life insurance policy. Amazing, 90% poll participants felt yes. Now remember, life insurance is a risk cover. If you do not have any financial dependent, like their husband, wives, I know both of them are working, they don't have any children, they stay away from their parents, the parents are self-dependent. Why do they need life insurance? For whom? There's nobody behind. Okay, so we have to understand the purpose of life insurance. Okay, the people who are financially free. So I don't have any life insurance, zero. I don't need it, because if something happens to me, my family is secured because I already have assets. Right, so you need life insurance in specific scenarios when you have financial dependence and you do not have sufficient assets and you have liabilities. Then you may need certain risk coverage, and then you will need a term cover. By that, don't get into any other kind of cover as far as life insurance is concerned. Okay, coming on to the last section, we have 5 minutes, I believe. So I'm going to 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to take that and break few more of your myths. Okay, these are certain myths I tried to break regarding certain investments, but there's some general myths which I want to break and then tell you what to do next. Okay. Okay, so let's break some more money myths. First myth: it is tough to make a lot of money. That's a myth. And the fact is, it's not tough, but it can take time. Then there is a power of compounding in play. It takes some money and a lot of time to make a lot of money. Okay, so it's not tough, it needs patience. Okay, you have to start early in life. So if you are a youngster, just started earning, just the right time, get going with investing, learn the basics, start with FDs, RDs, go for debt mutual funds, connect with a financial advisor, uh, and try to get into equity funds slowly, have a right portfolio balance, but start early. That's the key. I mean, you have to teach your children to start saving and investing from their pocket monies. That's got to become a habit. Even if they don't invest in fund, mutual funds, etc., but they got to save and invest. They got to get into that habit. Okay, because the time is vital. Time is really critical for money creation. I'll give you an example. Who was richer at the age of 60? Somebody who's invested 500 rupees a month from the age of 15 to the age of 25 and stopped investing, or somebody who started at 25 and invested 500 rupees a month till the age of 60. So there's one guy who is investing for 10 years and the other guy, second guy, who's investing for 35 years, same amount of money every month. But since Mr. Ram, who's the first guy, started early, he's going to beat Mr. Sham, who started late, because there is a time value of money. So you got to teach your children, you got to teach everyone around you that you got to start early. That's the key. Don't wait for the perfect time, perfect opportunity, perfect knowledge. It's not going to come like that. You got to start, and then you will acquire whatever knowledge. You will do a little bit of mistakes, which is okay. That's a part of learning, right? But you got to start early as you can. Your children should start early. Okay, earliest we can get started to investing basically is when we start earning money. And that's a myth. Okay, you don't have to wait to start earning money. Most 80% globally and 62% poll participants feel that yes, you got to really you know earn money before you can really invest it. No, the fact is, when we know how to count money, we should get started with investing it. If we would get our children into that habit, the biggest wealth creators like Warren Buffett, he started at the age of 7 years. Okay, his first investment. So I mean, we got to get into that culture of teaching finance to our children. That's another problem in Indian social network, that we feel that teaching about money is not a very good thing to children. It's when they're going to really spend their lives earning money, handling money. Why not teach them? Okay, how to invest? Okay, and for that, of course, we got to learn it first. You first need a lot of financial education to invest money. Another myth: And look at that, almost half of us feel that. Okay, you just need fundamental school education to start investing. All you need is 10 standard mathematics. All you need is basic wisdom to really compare two things and see which one is better for you. That's all you need. Okay, it's not difficult, but it needs to be done with discipline and commitment. Okay, this we discussed. Income minus expenses is savings. No, this is not how money is saved, but this is how people save it globally. The fact is, you should first save. So income minus savings is, remember this formula. Income minus savings is your expenses. You'll go to first save and then spend. Okay. Then most wealthy people live a lavish lifestyle. Now, half of us believe that, but the challenge, is you hear about only a few selected people in the news because they're living a lavish lifestyle. Most of the people who are financially free, who are living, who are really wealthy, they don't lead a lavish lifestyle. They lead actually a frugal lifestyle. 85% millionaires in the world are living a frugal lifestyle. You will not never hear about them. Okay, I mean, they stay frugal. Frugal doesn't mean they don't enjoy their lives. It's just they don't waste money. They're just sensible about money. Okay. Now, again, too much money is not good. That's another myth. Okay. Although a lot of you didn't feel that, you feel that too much money is also okay, which is good. It's a good sign. So I always believe that money depends on you. How do you want to use it? Like, I mean, television is good or bad? I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you use it. A kitchen knife depends on you. Nuclear energy, this all depends on the intention of the person who is holding those things, right? How they use it. It's not good or bad. So too much money is not bad. People can use that money to elevate so many other lives. We run an NGO to plant trees and we contribute. I mean, I myself contribute a part of all I earn to that NGO, and of course there are other contributors, and that's what we're trying to do. So too much money is not bad. Let it come as much as it can. We're going to plant more and more trees. So how is it going to be bad? Okay, it depends on the intent of the person who is handling it. Okay, then increasing income is more important, that we discussed. I think expenses is what we should be focusing on. Otherwise expenses will keep increasing. Okay, you have to got better control. Okay, this is one question. Compound interest is where people don't understand. I mean, we believe we understand. That is the problem, that we believe we understand it. Compound interest is slightly more powerful than simple interest, and almost 100% believe it. It's slightly more powerful. Oh, it's not slightly more powerful. It's magically more powerful. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, as Albert Einstein said it. Now, I'm not saying this. Why would he say something like this? Because we do not appreciate how powerful it is. We do not realize it doesn't just get into our mind. Warren Buffett is not the smartest investor around. The biggest advantage Warren Buffett was having was time. He started at the age of 7. He started early, so he had a lot of time to compound his money. And I mean, of course, he was a smart investor, but there were even smarter investors than him. But they couldn't become as wealthy as him because he had the advantage of compounding with him. He had time with him. He has been investing in compounding for 75 years now, man, 3/4 of a century. My God. So that's what compounding can do for you. A human mind cannot easily comprehend non-linear growth. I mean, that's the challenge. I'll show you an example. Just this one example. If I give you a sheet of paper, simple plain paper, and ask you to fold it 50 times, just the paper of your register or copy or notepad or anything. Do you know what's the approximate thickness after 50 folds? Just, I mean, you don't have to speak, of course, but you can just keep it in your mind. Just start imagining. Let's see how human mind works. A simple sheet of paper, if it is foldable 50 times, how thick it can go after 50 folds? So here is the answer: 1,125 lakh kilometer thick. No, we couldn't visualize it. We cannot, because that's how human mind is wired. It's never wired for compounded growth. It's wired for linear growth. So that is the challenge with compounding. And what is the magic of compounding? What if I do one more fold? So whatever I achieved in 50 folds, I can now achieve in one more fold, just one more fold. So if I started 1 year early, what can happen? Magic can happen. So So you got to realize this. This is not, you got to be really, I mean, I tell you, even today, nobody's going to realize this. You got to be hit by the compounding at some point of time in your life, and then you're going to realize how powerful it is. Okay. Okay. Maybe just a couple of myths left. Financial freedom is primarily about wealth. No, I think we discussed it in the time money graph. It's about a balance between wealth and time. Okay, because time is not, you're not going to buy time from anywhere. You can buy, when you can earn, you can find different ways to earn money, but there's no way to earn time except that you get financially free. You take money out of the equation of your life. That's what financial freedom is. I want freedom from thinking about finance. That's financial freedom. Okay. It's the freedom to craft your life the way you want to do, your dreams, whatever you want to do. You may want to continue in your job, nobody's stopping that, but you do that with total relaxation, that you're financially secure, your family is secure, nothing's going to happen. Even if tomorrow you don't have a job, nothing's going to happen. You're secure. So that's the freedom of mind, the freedom of action. That's what we're talking about. Teaching about money, this is the last one. Teaching about money to women, children is not morally good, but that's changing for sure nowadays. At least for women it's changing, and I can see that, but for children probably it's still not. It's a long way to go. Because we see how what's the advantage they get when they start early. Just 1 year early can just change everything. So we as a society are preparing women and children to earn money. So how can teaching about it be bad? Okay, so we're done with this. Just one or two more slides where we're going to talk about how to equip yourself now, and get going with this, all those jargons which I talked about. Not really jargons, with the basics, but still there's could be an information overload. So you got to equip yourself. How are you going to equip yourself? You're going to read some books, blogs. I'm not saying you're going to read my books, but you're going to read something. Because without reading, see, the challenge is which we feel we have Google, we have all the search engines available. You can Google only what you think you don't know, right? But you can't Google what you don't even know that you don't know. Okay, so for that you got to read. You got to read blogs, books, magazines, stuff like that. Okay. So just for your reference, Rat Race to Financial Freedom, the first book. This is my own book, my own journey from the corporate rat race to financial freedom. Forbes is the book which I referred in between the session, which is about all the financial mistakes and the myths that people carry. And this is our blog, Elevate Your Life. We'll be sharing these links with you guys after the presentation. I'll be sharing it with Archel and everyone, which you can access from them. Then, if you have further questions, even after reading those articles and books and all, you are free to write to me at this email address. I have a WhatsApp number, which is a dedicated WhatsApp number for queries. You're free to query, put your queries in there. I may take a little bit of time to respond, but I will respond. Okay, that's my assurance to you. Then seek mentoring, because nothing like repeating the same mistakes again and again, doing the same things again and again. Seek mentoring. People who have already done those mistakes. When I mentor people on financial freedom, I handhold them to their entire journey of 10 years, 12 years, take them to financial freedom. So that's the main, because I have experienced that, I've gone through that journey. So I want them to avoid those mistakes. Okay. So this is a link where you can find more details on our program where we give mentoring on financial freedom. Of course, there's a limited intake there. Then subscribe to certain magazines which keep coming to you. Okay. So we run a magazine called as Elevate, where we talk about personal finance, how to read our daily financial news, how to interpret them as a common person, and a lot about life, positivity. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we discuss in that magazine. So you can even subscribe to that. Okay. Okay. So in the end, before we open it up for questions, I'm going to just put one more slide. You got to take charge of your financial life. Okay. Nobody's really going to come and help you. Okay. You got to go out and seek help. Okay. Take charge, basically. Okay. And don't wait. That okay, today's session is over, well done, I spent 2 hours in a fantastic session, I learned a lot of things, good, let's go home, we'll talk about it after a month. That's never going to happen. You're never going to get started. You got to get started right away. You got to take the first step, whether it's subscribing to a newsletter, whether it's reading a blog post, whether it's buying a book. You got to do something. because it's going to trigger some action that's going to give you back the energy to really strive ahead. And there's no perfect time, and time is critical. We talked about it. Time is just so vital in wealth creation. Invest in yourself. That's the best. When we talk about investments in FDs, this, that stuff, invest in yourself, because when you are, I always believe that your wealth will always catch up with your intellect. That's one of the things which I always keep telling people. Your intellect is going to determine your wealth ultimately. Okay, people who are lottery winners, they become wealthy just like that, but their intellect levels are low, financial intellect levels are low. So they just lose all their money. That's a study which proves that they just lose almost all of their money within few years. And people who are financially, they're intellectual, so they get rich. Obviously they will, because they'll take action then. Work hard, whether it's in your job, whether it's on your financial planning. Work hard. Working hard is going to keep you fit. Okay, relaxation is good, but working hard, there's nothing like working hard. I believe in working very, very hard. Okay, don't just survive. Everybody's going to survive this life, so don't just survive. Okay, lead an impactful life. Do something which is extraordinary. It could be different for different people. In the people I coach, they're all doing it for a reason. The financial freedom, it's not an easy journey, so they're not doing it for fun. They're doing it because they want to create an impact, and the impact they want to create is through different ways. So lead an impactful life. Okay, so I'm going to finish this off, and I'm going to leave you with one video which proves, 2-minute video, which proves that women are better investors than men, and what men can learn from women, basically. So it's for both of us. So let me come out of this and try to run this video. Okay, so this is okay, hold on. I think I'm directly trying to play it from YouTube.
Want to build your website but confused? Worry not. Let Big Rock come to your rescue. Your once.
Do women make better investors than men? A new study from Fidelity is out and finds that yes, they do. Measuring data from the last 10 years, the study found women investors outperformed their male counterparts by 40 basis points, or 0.4%. Joining us right now is one of the women involved in the study, Lorna Kapusta. She's Fidelity Investments head of women investors and customer engagement. And Lorna, this is something that as soon as I heard it, I thought, oh, I must hear more about this. This was a pretty detailed study. This was not a small sample size, and this was not taken over a small period of time. Just tell us what you guys found when you dug into the numbers.
Yeah, we are just as happy, and I would say that I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was pleasantly thrilled. We looked at over 5 million men and women, and we followed them over 10 years. And what we found when we look at the average return over that time is that women on average earn 40 basis points more.
Is that 40 basis points over a year, or is that 40 basis points over the decade?
Over the decade. And I'll tell you, that might not seem like a ton, but depending on how much money, it actually can add up. And I think what's really important is that oftentimes when you ask men and women, we do studies all the time, who's the better investor? Men and women say that men are. So what this tells you is women are and can be great investors.
I think part of this is because women weren't moving and selling and trading quite as frequently, right? A lot of times they stayed pat, and that seemed to be a better strategy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Women do 3 things really well. They, one, think about their overall goals and go into it, aligning their money to achieve that goal. They are investing consistently over time, let's say out of every paycheck, and not trying to time the market. And third, as you said, they're not buying and trading as much. They're buying and holding. So it's a longer term view. And that recipe is a recipe for success for them.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
Okay, so I think, Achal, I'm done with the presentation. We can open it up for Q&A.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Manoj, for giving us a holistic background and importance of financial management, myths, and investment part. Sorry, there is a background.
It works. That's a huge bureaucracy.
Manoj, I think that's your video on YouTube.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
can.
I understood it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I will just now open this session for everyone. If you have any question, we had 2 questions in the question answer session, and I think you have already answered them because they have asked that what is the best sector to invest, and another one is investing on assets like real estate or gold is be part of passive income or not. So I feel you have already answered, but I'll request anyone from attendees if you like to. Okay, next question we got. Next question is how to, I'm not sure what does it mean, but how to use leverage. So that's another question we have received. So would you like to answer that one, Manoj?
When this question doesn't seem to be complete, but yeah, leveraging basically.
What I have done is I have unmuted Chanpreet Singh, the person who has asked the question. Chanpreet, if you would like to ask and clarify.
Sure.
Yeah?
Manoj, the reason for asking this question was from all the asset classes which we discussed is how do we use leverage? We've seen that using leverage, people have multiplied with their wealth. So how can we use leverage while investing?
So leveraging what? Leveraging time? You're saying leveraging what?
Leveraging using debt, I meant specifically.
Oh, leveraging debt. So leveraging debt basically, so that when you invest, so basically you're leveraging your money and time, right? So when you say leveraging debt, so you go to invest your money into either debt mutual funds or again, investing depends on where you want to invest, what's your risk profile. So there are people who also invest in private equity, okay, where the returns are likely to be very, very high, but then the risks are also very, very high. So we got to be careful with that, depending on how much money we can afford to lose, or how much is our risk profile. Accordingly, we got to decide how much we can leverage. Otherwise, in general, leveraging basically means I don't want to spend my time earning more money, so I'm going to invest it. So investing in any asset class is essentially leveraging only.
No, so specifically, let's say real estate, and when we looked at it, you were personally didn't, let's say, understood real estate much, or didn't provoke it, but that's the only asset class where you could take loan and invest and multiply your wealth. Otherwise, HDFC, even to buy HDFC share, is not going to lend you money to buy his own shares. So
yeah, correct. So in real estate, yes, you can leverage banks' money, but then the challenge with real estates are too many nowadays. One, the amount of investment involved. Even if you take loan, you got to still invest in lakhs, right? Second, the risk involved, because you don't know how good it's ultimately going to turn out to be. You don't know the true value of that investment, right? So bank will give you loan based on your credibility. If a bank doesn't care you buying a property worth 50 lakhs for 70 lakhs or not. Third, the taxation part. Okay, once you sell it, at some point you're going to sell it, right? You're going to pay capital gains tax on it, which is flat 20% of your gains. Okay, you can try to save it by investing in some dud investments like bonds and all, but that's really of no use. Okay, fourth, there's still black money involved in real estate investments. Okay, and handling illegal money is something which is very, very tough nowadays. Fifth, every family has liquidity needs. Okay, and if I have a 1 crore real estate investment, I need 5 lakhs for my family, for my kids' education. I can't rely on this investment. Okay, so the challenges are too many with real estate. I know what you're trying to say, but then there is something called as cost of lost opportunities as well. Once we are investing in real estate, okay, and real estate is growing at 7, 8, 9, 10% maybe, which is again tax inefficient, I am losing an equal opportunity to invest somewhere else, which could have easily fetched me 15% returns. Right. So there are a lot of challenges with real estate. Real estate, as I said, was a fantastic investment when we didn't have internet, when we didn't have, all this mutual fund stuff. This all came 30 years back. Okay. And Another thing, real estate, you just can't set up a cash flow as you desire. Okay. With mutual funds, whether it's debt funds or equity funds, I can set up a cash flow. Say I'm financially free. I don't have an income, a salary income. So I want a cash flow. How do I get a cash flow? Real estate, at the most, what you will do is you'll put it on rent. Okay. Rent, the rental, the percentage returns that you get from rental is around 2 to 3%. Okay. So there's a fixed thing coming up, but I want a cash flow of, let's say, 50,000 rupees a month. How do I convert it from real estate? I cannot. So there's too many minuses with real estate today because there are so many good options now that are available. So that's why I'm not a big fan of real estate. People still do invest. I mean, everybody's different.
Got it. What is
Sorry,
out of this in, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, Charanpreet. We don't have much time and we have a couple of questions from others who
Makes sense.
would like to cover them. So we have another question from Raghav is thoughts on investment like Credmint.
So there are too many platforms nowadays. I mean, every day we hear a new name, which I haven't heard a few months back. Credmint by itself is not an investment. Okay? Credmint is a platform. You got to know what is that you're investing into. Okay, what are you buying? You got to understand the investment first. Okay, Credmint is giving you a platform. Now, in that you may be buying certain unsecured bonds, which may be giving you better returns, like 9%, 10% kind of returns. Now, those bonds are unsecured. So Credmint is not responsible if those companies whose bonds you're buying fail and they're not able to pay back your principal. Okay. So it may, in debt investments, remember a rule that you cannot earn better returns without taking higher risk. So it is risk that you have to really factor in here. So to me, for a normal layman investor, I wouldn't advise any such platform. If you have to invest in debt-based investments, it's okay to get 8% returns from debt mutual funds rather than going for 9% through these platforms and then investing in something which you don't even know where your money is going, whether it will come back safely or not. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Manoj. Next one we have, are FDs better than SIPs?
Again, as I said, no asset or no investment, I can say one is better than the other. For you, whether FD is better or SIP, when you say, I assume it's mutual funds you're talking about. For you, whether FD is better or mutual fund is better, that will depend on your risk profile. But in general, you should have some portion in both. How much? Again, I can't comment unless I look at your needs and financial situation. But we can discuss it over email or something later on. But again, for let's say if somebody is 80 years old, go for FDs only, no SIPs. If somebody is just starting off, go for only FDs, no SIPs. If somebody is just 3 to 5 year experience, have a mix of both. Somebody is like 10 years experience in mutual funds, majorly SIPs. So again, it depends on each person.
Understand. Thank you. Next one, I'll just cover last one and then maybe we'll close the question answer because we are short of time. So last question from Ranjani is, if already in home loan, almost in 15 years in corporate, any suggestions, good way of investing to grow money, eventually get out of loan?
So let me understand the question. If you're already in home loan, already almost in 15 years in corporate, I didn't actually understand the question.
So what I understood that she has 15 years of experience. She's in home loan, and what is the good way of investing so she can come out from home loan quickly?
Oh, okay. So basically, you're looking at good investments. You want to settle your home loan. Okay. Yeah. As I said earlier, if your home loan tenure is already crossed 5-6 years, you've already paid your EMIs for 5-6 years, then I would not advise you to try and settle your home loan. And the reason, unless it's causing you a mental agony, because financially it is not going to make sense to settle your loan now. If it is in the initial stages, yes, if you have money, you should settle it. But if you have money and you want to invest and settle it later, it's going to take time for your investments to give you the returns, and by that time it will not make any sense to settle your home loan. what are the good options for you to come out of loan is basically what are the good options that can give you good returns. Again, any of those which we discussed are good options. Mutual funds, SIPs is something which is good for any moderate person who is slightly experienced and who is slightly, patient with returns. You can go for them.
Perfect. Thank you, Manoj. I think we are good with the question answer. We have one last question, and
Sure.
we have multiple questions, but just last one I'll just take. Is invoice discounting a good option for passive income?
Yeah, again, as I said, all are good options for passive income. All investments return passive income, but invoice discounting gives you slightly better returns. But then again, you are taking a slightly higher risk. In debt, again, this is not equity, right? This is debt. In debt, ground rule, remember, again, you cannot get better returns without a higher risk. So if your risk profile, which I have to judge based on certain questionnaire, if your risk profile allows for a higher risk, go for passive income, go for invoice discounting. If it does not, avoid it. Safety is very, very important. See, there's a lot of hard earned money and there's a lot of effort that goes into saving from that income, and the safety of that saving is so important. We get lured by high returns, but you first look at safety. Okay.
Thank you, Manoj. Then I'll close the question answer session here. I think all this information will create huge impact in our regular financial practice and long-term planning. And thank you, Manoj, for sharing all this information. So with that note,